apologies for how long this one took. I'm a busy college man who just had a major project due and fell off his bike the other day. Major spoiler warning for all 6 books in Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Does anyone else think it's funny that both Emma and Nor have peculiarities that essentially make both of them combustible? Jacob has a type, I guess. On the topic of Emma Bloom, oh good lord, this girl has issues. At the beginning of the story, at least to me, she read similarly to Annabeth in The Lightning Thief, which made her an immediate favorite of mine. A love interest who threatens her future boyfriend with a knife the first time she meets him? Hell yeah. She's not as high on the list anymore, but then again, the lowest on my list of favorites is still a solid 9 out of 10. Don't get me wrong either, Emma's a complete and total badass and I love it. My boyfriend and I have discussed who out of all these kids could most easily kill a man, and Emma is easily one of the 3 who altogether take the top spot. The other 2 are Nor and Fiona, if you were wondering. She has and will murder, and I absolutely love that for her. Unfortunately though, in a sentiment that will be repeated when we get to Nor at the end of this series, she falls flat in the sense that the girls in these books just aren't focused on a whole lot, especially when they can just be slotted in as Jacob's current girlfriend. Which is incredibly stupid because Emma is fantastic for what she is otherwise. She's a natural leader, she does not tolerate her people being treated badly, and she's proven time and time again that she really deserves to be a second protagonist. She's one of the group's leaders and protectors, but because of how this was written, she's reduced more often than not to just there to be Jacob's love interest. Yes, she's more competent than your typical damsel in distress, but outside of Hollow City and Library of Souls, she doesn't do very much, if anything at all, and she's not even the love interest anymore after A Map of Days. To my memory, in the Conference of the Birds, she does less than in any other book because she's still too busy not being over Abe, which is an entire point on its own, but she's still being treated as you would a love interest who serves little other purpose. Let Emma be badass, please! Speaking of, though, Emma's inability to move on from Abe is a fascinating character flaw that both shows off her attachment issues and just how stupid Jacob Portman can be sometimes. Seriously, the fact that it took 4 books for Jacob to realize that no, it was not in fact just his anxiety telling him that she wasn't over Abe yet. And no, Jacob, it did not get any less weird that you dated your grandfather's ex-girlfriend. I don't know why we were supposed to pretend that it did. And then you bring in that stupidly canon side point with Enoch, and what is this situation? Where was the communication here? The lack of communication was Emma and Jacob's downfall, but the sheer amount of dragging it did to keep this relationship going as long as it did. Emma, I love you, but you have to talk to people when you feel these things. You have to either find a way to get over it now or figure out how long it will take you to process it before you get into another relationship. And I'm sorry, but the grandson of your ex, who happens to look exactly like him, and you expected this to work? Honey, you've been mourning this guy in this relationship for almost a century, and you normally have such good judgment. Come on, girl. Reading this is painful. As someone who's been happily dating someone for 5 years, I am in pain. Take a break. Focus on yourself, please. I completely agree with the sentiment that Enoch O'Connor needs to learn when to shut his fucking mouth, but come on, this was not going to last the whole series. You still need to heal, Em. Regardless, both her strong points and her character flaws make her significantly more interesting than her movie counterpart, who is Olive, for some reason. I read something about Ella Purnell initially being cast as Olive and the writers switching her to Emma at the last second because of something about her possibly dating Asa Butterfield at the time, but I have literally no idea, so don't quote me on that. Fun fact though, this movie came out when I was around 11 or 12, and seeing Emma's air powers in the ads for it was what made me want to watch the movie. I thought she was awesome. My mom has always been very strict on the book is always better and bought the book for me so that we could go watch it when I was done, but according to her, I handed it back after about 5 chapters and told her it was too weird. Proof that 11-year-old me had zero taste in fiction. But back on topic, if book Emma is reduced to just a love interest at times, movie Emma is cardboard. I'm sorry. Ella Purnell did great, I know it was just the writing, but I'll be completely honest, when your protagonist and pseudo-antagonist have more of a relationship, positive or negative, than either do with their actual love interests, you've written it wrong. And I'll live rant in Enoch's video because I fucking despise it, but I'm not here to pretend movie Gemma was much better. If you want romance in this movie, do what my friend Sarah does and watch it through a floating fire lens. Let the lesbianism win. On that note though, that's Emma. She's wonderful in so many ways, and I think when I actually draw these kids using their powers, I want to talk about more things I like about her, because I know I complain a lot, but I do really love her. Sorry the background doesn't go great with our colors, but the color was called Flame. I didn't have a choice here. Next up is our perpetually invisible know-it-all, and did you know that Millard wanted to be a teacher? As someone majoring in art education, I really like that. See y'all when either that's done or I finish drawing an actual normal TikTok.